You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast. So I've been driving the old F-250 to work.
I saw that hunk of shit out there.
Yeah. It's been working. It starts every time.
40s.
We'll get there. That's not exactly what I want to talk about at the moment. But
yeah, Corey, he's going to put 40s on it. He is.
Corey's giving his look right now. He's like, no way. And I'm
no
like,
gears. He's gonna go against everything that he's ever said, and he's putting 40s on it because it needs it. It's the look.
I don't know if you're patronizing me or not, but
no, I truly want you to do it.
It does have the look.
It has the look. Who cares if it barely moves when you accelerate?
This is true. But anyway, so I'm getting on the freeway from work here, or from home to work. And, I'll be honest, with the gears that it's in right now, and I know I have a boost leak, and I went straight to the highest tune on my Edge Evolution. I'll be honest, guys, she's a little smoky. Okay, old truck, she's a little smoky. Transmission does not quite like to downshift as quick as it should. So usually, like, if you romp on or lean into it, it belches a bit, and then it'll kind of catch back up. Yeah. Also, boost leak, like I mentioned before. But anyways, so I'm jamming onto the freeway. And I get on, and it's a really short on-ramp, so already like blue little cloud, and I'm up there, everything's going fine, and I move over to the center lane, and there's this like two-door, like early 2000s Cadillac, they weren't a DeVille still,
like
were they?
Eldorado?
No, it was a two-door, like the Navistar or Northstar engines on there. Northstar? Yeah.
Freaking Eldo, yo.
Eldo, maybe, yeah.
Pull it up, Corey.
But like two different color hood, like the guy painted the center of the hood black. Right,
nice.
Just it's total classic piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's coming up like pretty fast in the fast lane, pretty well behind me though. And so like I lean into it and it downshifts, and I'm picking up, and I get into the fast lane, and he is pissed that I am there. He comes up and just right on my ass, and I can as he's that's it.
Eldo, baby.
Yeah, it's Eldo, like early 2000s Eldo. And he comes as I'm moving over, he's like already flipping me off, just absolutely irate. And I'm just like, go ahead. Go ahead. First off, hit me. Please. Please hit me. Like, I am begging you to hit me right now.
He probably doesn't have insurance, so you probably don't want him to hit you. Fair.
I have full coverage, and I have the uninsured motorist coverage, because I learned that the hard way last time.
Yeah.
But, I'm just like, first off, you're not going to fuck anything up in this truck. Especially with the hitch coming down to the back. Basically go to middle of your hood as you slide under, and maybe just bash your face against my rear bumper. Don't care. Yep. Anyways, so he's like right on my, I can barely see the roof of his car over my tailgate. So he's just riding it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just keeping up with traffic, and I can tell he's antsy back then. I'm like, fuck it, whatever, man. You want to be a dick? You be a dick. Hang out behind me now. And he's like, and then just before it's time for me to get over, he like jams around the guy in the other lane to like get in front of me, and barely make it in. Like, he probably almost hits like 3 cars in the process. And he gets in front of me, and as I'm putting my blinker on to get out of the lane, because I got to exit, and I end up kind of next to him, I look over at him, like, this is all happening within like 10, 15 seconds. So I look at him, and I just give him a, yeah, dude. Give him a thumbs up, like, ha, yeah.
And he's just like,
and he's just looking at me pissed off, like, fucking giving me the finger. I'm like, dude, you need to chill. And then he rides that guy's ass in front of that. So I'm like, okay, this guy's, I just happen to be the person in front of him, not the asshole. But anyways,
I know you're packing all the time. I get that. There was I'm pretty sure. Where was the exit you were talking about?
Thor.
Okay, yeah. There was a. Did you hear about that? There was a road rage incident, and a guy fucking shot someone and killed him on the freeway from road rage. Yeah.
First off, I have the high ground.
You do have the high ground, yes. But yeah,
we share blood in the same mud.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll if I'm on the phone with my wife and I get a little road ragey, she'd be like, just let it go, it's fine. And then when I'm on the phone with her and she's driving and she gets road ragey, I'm like, calm down, it's okay. No, it's not like, whoa, hey. It's like, come on.
I don't get road ragey. Like, even when I'm by myself or like that, the people are dumb. And I just assume everybody's an absolute idiot. And I'm like, par for the course. You guys are all fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I just don't want someone to hit me. That's
fucking hit me.
Well, yeah, with your truck, yeah. But
both my tanks, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I just, yeah. No, that's why I drive super slow.
Yeah, I'm not speed anywhere.
Yeah, I don't care.
The only time
I just don't like it when people cut me off, like unnecessarily. Like that will get me a little. I'll start bringing the temp up. Other than that, I'm pretty. Or if people are just going asininely slow, like just that frustrates me. And I could if I can tell they're on their phone because you can see their.
You look down and see my
it's
phone.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah. The only time I know that I've exhibited road rage is because I was doing a Red Bull drop in San Francisco on the Embarcadero, and it was in my red truck, and obviously like it's compact city, you know, and some guy drove by and clipped the mirror on my truck. And I fucking chased him. I
Dude, did I tell
tailgate
you about...
down, case of Red Bull flew out the back. I was just chasing this guy. I was like, I'm gonna.
Did I ever tell you about the time where I got followed for like a half hour?
No.
And like I was trying to lose the guy. I was in my second gen, dude. My second gen. She was kind of hopped up, and she was definitely the bro style truck at stacks. I think this time when I got followed, I only had the single stack in it, but I was with a buddy of mine, and we were coming back from like somewhere up in Deer Park or something like that. Like I wasn't driving like a dick or anything. Like the truck was a little smoky. You take off, and to get on the freeway, it's gonna chug a little,
cheech a little bit.
Yeah, and it was this guy in this like white standard cab F-150, and he just gets on my ass, and like it's at night. And he could have just passed me, but he wouldn't. So I'm like, this guy's just riding my ass. Like, okay, well, it was a manual. Yeah,
throw it in fifth.
I'm just gonna give her the get off my ass, dude. So I let her chug, and that truck would chug if you let the shit out of it.
Bigger injectors on a second gen of the manual. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. So I gave him a little, and then he just still ride my ass. So I was like, okay, motherfucker, and I just gave it to him, like probably for at least 200 yards. Just absolutely cover him. Well, there he still is. Now I'm with my buddy, and I was pretty young at this time too, and I was like, well, I don't want him to like follow us because we were going back to his parents' house, and I was like, I don't want him to, and he was even like, don't go back to my house, like I don't want him to know where I live. I was like, just try to lose him. I'm like, okay, I'll try to lose him. So we start taking these back roads, and the dude's fucking following me the whole time, dude. We go all the way up like by Green Bluff, like all dirt roads. This dude is freaking following me, and you can only go so fast on a second gen on dirt roads. Like, yeah, like it's not a rally car. I couldn't freaking lose this guy for the life of me. Finally, there was like a good straight section and I just gave it and did a quick turn and did another quick turn and finally got away from him. But he followed me for like a good 25-30 minutes. And I'm like, I had my AR-15 in the back. Like I was like, dude, this guy wants to stop. Like he's gonna get a fucking surprise. Like I wasn't gonna shoot him, but like it's a good deterrent. Following like a 19-year-old kid. Like, I'm dumb and young, and like I'll bust that fucker out. Like just say what's up. But it was probably a good thing that I didn't. But yeah, I got followed for a long ass time in that truck up in the woods. Like I was like, dude, this guy is relentless. He's just not giving up.
What the fuck is this guy's deal?
Yeah, the truck was white, and then after we were done, it was black.
At least the front.
At least the front of it had a nice fade.
Yeah.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons. And that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, It'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. This is Ben, Tyler, and Corey from America's Diesel Podcast. I almost said products. Not the right one.
We are from there, too.
Yeah. You can find us on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. Also follow us on social media. We do go live on our Instagram every Wednesday right around 5 p.m. Pacific time. Come have a beer with the boys, talk a little bit of shit. Also, check out our Facebook group, America's Diesel Podcast - the group. 3 very specific questions you must answer. Many right answers, many wrong answers. But it is a spicy unit with a lot of good tech support in there. Tyler reviews.
Oh yeah, keep those reviews coming in. We are moving up, and we greatly appreciate every single one of you. Leave a 5-star review on any of the platforms you listen to this podcast on. Screenshot that and send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com, and we will get you a sticker. I'll make sure to include a picture of your truck and an address.
Bam. Lastly, if you need parts for your diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. You see that quick ship logo, it's guaranteed in stock, ready to rock. If you're talking to a salesman, let them know you're a podcast listener. You don't receive anything monetary, but should something happen in your order, we take care of it because we do play favorites. Also, if you're placing an order online in that notes section, the order notes section, type the word podcast. But not only does it help us identify who listens to the podcast, but it helps us tell the big guys upstairs that we're down here drinking beer, having fun, and helping people buy parts because money makes the world go round. And Tyler just spun the globe.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yep.
So, Tyler.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some RVs.
Okay.
Okay. So I had a listener, Lane Tansey, message me, and he was like, "Hey, you guys should do an episode on RVs." And I was like, "Well, I mean, Tyler knows way more than I do, but
yeah,
like, what do you got going on?" So I'll kind of like summarize a little bit here, but for the most part, he's trying to figure out and this is where I can help, and I know you're going to help more with like an actual selection. But he's I can't remember where exactly he lives, but he's not moving too far away, but he's going to college in Portland, and he's wondering if he should look into living in an RV, like getting a trailer and working with that and paying that off rather than, getting an apartment and paying rent.
Yeah.
And on its face, I immediately say yes, because at least you'd be building equity in the trailer rather than an apartment.
Well, kind of. I mean, a trailer, like, bumper pull, fifth wheel, unless it's like a really, really high end one. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as like most vehicles. You pull it off a lot, bye-bye to half the value. Yeah. Again, if you're looking at something, higher end, they do tend to hold their value a little bit, and especially if you're already into camping and that sort of thing, you can obviously, use it for that after you're done with it. Mm-hmm. But I'd probably look for something used, honestly.
So we're going to get into a minute there. Okay. So he asked me that, and I proceeded to just berate him with questions.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the trailer, but we can probably help and figure out if a trailer makes sense or not.
Yeah.
So I asked these questions, and in no particular order, I was literally typing this as I was making dinner for my kids. Said, what's your budget? How long will it be your primary residence? Where are you going to school? I assume you have a proper rig to move it, which he does. How far away from home will you be? Is it your first time living on your own? Do you know anyone where you're going to be going to school? Are you clean slating it, et cetera, et cetera? Basically just kind of like getting some basics on it. Cause for all I know, it's like an RV 20 minutes away from his parents' house or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, he's from Eastern Washington or Eastern Oregon, and he's going to be going to Portland, so across the state. So not too far away, but definitely not necessarily close. It would be him and his girlfriend. He's been living on his own since he was 17. He's 19 now. Nice work. And he would say roughly his budget would be like $1,400 a month. He's assuming it's about what he'd be paying for rent.
Okay. Well, yeah. So if you're not, you can continue. We can address that portion of it first, if you want.
But one thing we didn't get into, I was like, have you looked at, how much it would cost to have your trailer parked somewhere near where you're going to be going to school?
That's
because like if you're parking an hour away, like that kind of eats into the whole convenience factor of being close and having a trailer. And are you going to be safe wherever you're parking in Portland? Because I don't know if you've seen Portland on the news recently, but it's kind of a shithole.
Yeah. Well, okay. So obviously finding a spot where you can park this thing long term, you want to make sure that you have, obviously power. With most trailers, like something similar to what I got, you need like 30 amp service. If you go up to the bigger ones, you'll need 50 amp service to power the unit. And that's mostly like those big fifth wheels. Some of the what they call like park model trailers, which are, I don't know if you've ever seen them driving down the road, but like the big front
square
of them,
ones.
the big square ones in the front that looks like the, like the eave of a house, basically. Those are basically designed to be dropped off at a KOA and stay there for long periods of time, or, lake cabins, that sort of thing. Some of those will be 50 amp. Like I said, big fifth wheels, motorhomes are going to be 50 amp. So just make sure you got power, make sure you've got water, and sewer. Sewer is going to be a big one, just because you don't want to have to hook up that thing every 2 or 3 days. Like me and my wife, and I'll add in my mother-in-law because she goes with us a lot. We could fill up our tank in a weekend. So making sure you have a spot that has sewer connections is extremely helpful. Just so you're not hooking up, moving all your stuff away, and having to move it to dump it. So that's definitely something to consider. And also, is the $1,400, is that total with like parking spot and the trailer payment?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he assumes he's going to be paying for rent per month. So that would include payment, parking spot, insurance, utility, like whatever.
Okay.
I don't know the terms, but yeah.
Most nicer, we'll say, RV, locations, camp, whatever you want to call it, RV spots that have the ability to do long-term camp, they're going to usually have either a weekly rate or a monthly rate. I would say the monthly rates usually range anywhere from $800 to $900 a month, which obviously saves you because they're usually about $80 a day on a decent one. So that's something to definitely, consider. Your power, water, all that stuff is usually, encompassed in that fee of $800 to $900. So at that rate, we'll go on the high end. So $900. So you've got, a $500 trailer, insurance, it ranges like, I think I pay, mine's coupled with my side-by-side, and it's like $40. So it's relatively cheap. Insurance is cheap on trailers. So you're looking at something around, I would say probably like at most, $400 as far as a payment. That's going to put you, like if you did put nothing down, it's probably going to put you around a trailer that's around 30. Cause the thing with trailers, especially if you're living in it, you can kind of, it depends on your budget, but you could push those things out for quite a while as far as like financing plans.
Mm-hmm. You can do like a 15-year on.
You could do quite a bit, yeah. So at that rate, what can you get with 30,000? You could get a really nice trailer. The biggest thing that I've ran into when we're looking at trailers, is just quality. You can, you might get showed one that's really big and has a cool, living room area, has a bunch of, has a slide and all that stuff. But then you go and touch a wall and it folds in on you and stuff like that. So when we were looking for a trailer, we were looking more for something on the higher end of the quality side, just because we knew, if we like this, we're gonna keep doing it, and so we want to be able to sell this.
You'd rather have higher quality and less amenities,
correct,
than like all the whiz bang doodads.
Yeah.
But then like the wall caves in.
Yeah. So, just watch out for that. Like I said, for that kind of money, you could get a really nice fifth wheel used. You could get a bigger tow behind trailer, like just a travel trailer. You could get a really nice one used. New, you're going to unfortunately, with that kind of money, you're going to still be on the cheaper side of things as far as construction. And it just comes down to what you're willing to deal with. You know, first of all, going into it knowing it's not a house. You know, it is a house, but it's not a stick built house here. So things and you know, trailer manufacturers are trying to make things as light as possible. So they'll go cheap on fixtures, wall stuff. The bathrooms. The bathroom was a big thing for us too. We wanted to have a decent bathroom. So it's something you just got to kind of look and see what's out there. Again, you can get a nice, good sized new trailer for that kind of money. But again, you're going to sacrifice some of the quality things. The nice thing with if you're going to live in it and be at like a park, you don't need to worry about getting something with a generator. Unless you want to have that as a backup, up to you. You could pick up one of those small like Honda EU 9000 whatever generators for less than $1,000. I know Cummins Onan makes one that has remote start. That's really nice. So you can just kind of leave it hooked up, and of course this is all if you don't have power. But again, you can go looking at a trailer that doesn't have a generator will definitely save you some money.
So I just did a Facebook Marketplace and I just searched fifth wheel camper.
Yeah.
I found a 2015 open range Roamer.
Yeah.
And it's $31,000.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, this thing is like,
they're nice,
really cool.
Yeah. I mean, a fifth wheel is going to give you a ton of room because it has that, extra portion of it that is up over the bed. Mm-hmm. That's usually on some of these, or like that one is probably going to be a bedroom up there.
Yeah.
Which is nice. They're going to have larger beds, at minimum a queen size bed. Some of them have king size beds, and they'll have like an actual mattress,
like nice.
Yeah, it's
kitchen
very
area,
nice.
A little table area with a fireplace and a freaking TV.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
I'd live
badass.
in that.
Full bathroom.
Yeah.
Like actual
stand-up
regular shower.
That's a nice shower. It's got the sliding glass door. Yeah. No, that's a nice one. And the nice thing too, if you're going to do this, as far as maintenance on these things, as far as pretty much, unless you get into like the bigger motorhomes, like diesel pusher motorhomes, all these things are freaking using all the same parts, same water pumps, the same, they're identical. A lot of them are built off of like Lippert chassis, which is like they supply every single manufacturer. So as far as like working on these things, the hardest thing is just figuring out where everything's at. But then once you know where everything's at, it's a very simple thing. Weather in Portland area, it doesn't get too cold over there as far as freezing, right? It's more like Seattle, so you don't have to worry about kind of insulating underneath and making sure it stays warm so it doesn't freeze up on you. So that's a nice thing. Are you doing a little loan calculator?
Yeah.
But you could again, I personally would. There's a lot of people that have fifth wheels and or nicer pull behind travel trailers that they're trying to get rid of because maybe they bought a side by side or something and they want a toy hauler. So I would strongly recommend buying used. You're just gonna get a higher quality trailer for less money basically. So
I'll be honest, man. I just did a quick calculation for a $30,000 trailer. 4.89% interest, which honestly interest is kind of up right now.
Yeah.
We'll assume it's going to be a 6% interest. 15-year loan, 0 down.
Yeah.
$253 a month.
Yeah.
Like that is,
so
in my opinion, very doable.
Yeah.
And even then, if you wanted to, I mean, you're under your budget, but that also means, again, the budget of $1,400 a month. That leaves you, that means not only are you getting an RV, but you're also coming out ahead.
Yeah.
And again, that's with zero money down.
That's zero.
So let's say you just, I don't know what your financial option is, but let's say you had, $5,000 to put down or something like that.
Yeah.
That knocks it down even more. You're down to $210 and change a month.
Yeah.
For a 15-year loan.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if you wanted to think about how fast could I pay it off if you did do that $400 a month.
Yeah.
Let's see if we kicked it down to 10 years. 277.
Yeah. So there's that price range. I mean, that, up to like $400 a month or whatever. You could get into some really nice trailers.
Yeah, you could, if you kept a $400 a month payment with $5,000 down.
Yeah.
You'd be at $414 a month, and you'd have it paid off in 6 years.
Yeah.
So basically, I think you mentioned that you'd be there for 2 to 4 years, if I recall correctly. So let's say you're there for 4. Pretty much by the time you're done,
yeah,
you'd have this thing almost paid off.
Yeah, and I will say too, a lot of these trailers that like that fifth wheel and that sort of thing, they're not necessarily built to live in.
Right.
So you're gonna find things if you're using it like a house, like I don't know if this makes sense. Tell me if it doesn't. But if you're using it like a house, you're going to notice things are going to start to kind of deteriorate on you a lot quicker.
Yeah, like the hinge on a door you open and close a lot is probably going to...
Things are going to come loose.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how it's built, cabinet stuff, wall stuff, it's just being kind of cognizant of that and knowing like, okay, this is a camper. Like we got to make sure we take care of things, and be easy on things. It's not a house with like, Huntwood cabinets, all right?
Yeah.
So, but if you're able to get into some of those, that's why they make those like park model ones. Those park model ones you'll find they're super heavy. They're built. They are sold as a live-in type unit where you're living in it constantly and not just taking it out on the weekends.
Yeah. But it's also way less mobile. It's like you move it somewhere, like you mentioned before, for like many, many months or years at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even with like my trailer, we notice things that are coming, and it also comes down to, obviously we're taking it out I think we've gone like 5 weekends in a row. when you take things out a lot, things start to get loose on you, and you have to, you're constantly like, I had a piece of trim fall off. I just had to get my nail gun out and nail it back together. But, it's something you just want to keep in the back of your head. You want to be, like faucet stuff, all the connections, they're all plastic. Everything's plastic. So just being aware of that, knowing it's a trailer and it's not built like a house. So you just kind of have to be easy on things. But it's totally doable. I mean, I would definitely chuck around and find a nice spot that you're able to put it, and then, make sure you call and make sure they have spots available for that, or for your unit. So yeah, it's totally doable. You could totally save money. It's definitely, if you're not used to it, it's definitely going to be and depending on what you get, it might be a little bit of a shock to you as far as space wise and that sort of thing. Some of them look really big in pictures, and you get in there, you're like, wow, is this really going to work?
And if your budget's like way down there, I found one that's even... Like me personally, this is not something that I would want to try and live in. Can it be done? Yes. Okay. Like I get that, like living conditions, but also be real with yourself. Like, is it going to end up pissing you off after 2 months? Like once the honeymoon wears off, you're like, fuck this. I want a real toilet.
Yeah.
Like this one doesn't have, like, it's got like the old school kind of, not old school,
the
like
plastic.
A plastic. Yeah. It's not, and like I think the shower's in there as well. So like the shower's where the shitter is.
Yeah, that is definitely something you're going to want to stay away from, because you'll start to notice walls starting to kind of, because they're basically like a fiberboard wall with like some wallpaper on it. So, things start to peel away and that sort of thing. And again, if you're looking at used, a lot of these too, the reason they're selling them is because they're sitting and they're not used, and people are selling them because they're sitting and they're not using them. Something to watch out for is, look for signs of small mammals.
Yeah.
Because they will get in everywhere and chew on all sorts of stuff. So looking for those little turds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best, and that happens when people leave food or something in the trailer. Mice will get in. They absolutely will get into everything. So, just be careful with the used stuff. Definitely go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And you can get something you're comfortable in.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if your lady's going to be there with you, be real with yourself. Like, are you going to be happy living in this?
Yeah.
For 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, and well, especially too, Portland, there's a lot of moisture over there.
Yeah.
That's, if you're looking at trailers, get on the roof, look at the roof. I've seen so many trailers that are parked at like a campground or something where they're just absolutely deteriorating, and that comes down to maintenance. I mean, you want to make sure if it's got slides, make sure that the side of the slides are wiped down, make sure the seals are clean. They make an actual specific cleaner for like the seals so they don't dry rot. Definitely make sure you check the roof. You don't want to have something leaking on a trailer. Again, they're built like freaking balsa wood freaking walls and shit, so
they've all got weight reduction plans.
They're absolutely. So you just want to make sure that there's no visible leaks in the ceilings. You want to make sure, and again, get up. If it's got a ladder, it means it can hold you up there to get on the roof. I get on the roof of my trailer because I don't cover it in the wintertime. I'll just get up there and brush the snow off if it snows heavy. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people won't even go on the roof. So it's definitely something you want to check out. And even like, we'll use our trailer in like the colder climate in the colder seasons. But I will always leave a God, what is it? A dehumidifier.
Yeah,
where it pulls the moisture out of the air. That for a trailer, especially in a more rainy climate, I would definitely keep a dehumidifier in there running, just to kind of pull some of that moisture out of inside of the trailer. Again, moisture is a huge killer of these things. If you get, and especially with the roof, because if that roof starts leaking, it's going to get into the walls, it's going to get everywhere, and you're going to start to notice if it's a fiberglass sided, you're going to start noticing the fiberglass is going to start to delaminate and and separate from the shell itself. So it's something you definitely want to just check out. But I think you're going to get more bang for your buck with something used. You're going to get a higher quality trailer with more space used. Again, you with that budget, you could totally buy something brand new, but just know you're gonna take a hit immediately when you pull that thing off the lot. So if you plan on reselling or that sort of thing, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, like even I know this is like more than the budget we were talking about, but like so I just found one, and these two. I mean, I'm gonna send to you, Lane. If we talk about any others, I'll send you a link for them. Obviously, they're up here towards us, but you're not that far away from us. Yeah. But it's a 2019 Heartland Sundance S7 3700 RLB. I don't know what all of those mean, but it's a rear bunk with loft, 2 full bathrooms. Fantastic.
You just figured it out.
Yeah.
RBL.
Got it.
Rear bunk, loft.
Fantastic layout for large family or lots of travel friends, lots of upgrades. Title in hand. Come take a look. It's in Rathdrum, but it's $55,000. It's also big.
It's got 5 slides.
It's got 5 slides. It's got a loft. And the cool thing that I would say kind of like about the whole loft thing, it's got 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, you put a bunch of shit up there.
That, but also if you and your lady are living in this thing, you might want some of your own space.
Yeah.
That loft can be her little like reading nook or something. I don't fucking know. But like somewhere to go be where the other person.
Get in the loft.
Yeah. Somewhere to be where the other person isn't.
Yeah.
And it has 2 bathrooms, so she can be taking a steamy shower in one, and you can go fucking drop your bombs off in the other one, dude. It'd be totally fine. But again, like budget wise, that's 55. So a little calculation here.
That's also a 40-footer, so that's a big one.
Yeah, she's big. So 55 GER. If you were to do the whole 6-year thing again, that's $828 a month. But if you were kicking it up to that 15 with $5,000 down, 6% interest, you're $421.93.
Yeah, you're right in the ballpark.
You're right in the ballpark.
That's a big ass trailer too.
Like that's a big fucking trailer. Yeah. This, I personally, I do feel like this would hold up in value relatively well, though. Personally, because it's bigger and it honestly, looking at the construction of it, like I can't see it or touch it like that, but just looking at the cabinets and things. It looks, I don't know if you can kind of roll with me on this, Tyler, but like the thing, to me, it seems like things are not necessarily like gonna fall apart.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like Corian countertops. That backsplash is probably not real.
Oh, I guarantee it's a sticker.
Yeah,
100%.
but the cabinets on that do look nice. It's got an island. It's full size fridge. The fridge thing that's going to be huge too. And you're not going to get you're going to get a relatively small fridge in like a travel trailer. And when I don't know if you know like the verbiage, but like a travel trailer is like a bumper pull trailer versus a fifth wheel or one of those park models. They're going to have more than likely a full size like residential fridge. Even my fridge is slightly larger than a standard RV fridge.
Yeah, you're like right in that middle.
It's the one step up, and then after that you go to like full size stuff. But if that's a concern for you, which I mean, if you're living in it, you want to make sure you've got your food in your fridge and you be able to store it. That kind of automatically puts you into some of those bigger models that are going to have a full size fridge. But
yeah, I think that you may be onto something. It's kind of the right track. My biggest thing there for you would be just making sure that you've thought out everything financially.
Yeah.
Like one of the other questions I was thinking about last night too is, do you have, like, let's say you finish school and you're not sure where you're going to be yet and you don't want to buy a house yet. Let's say you can't necessarily afford a house that has a spot big enough to park this.
Yeah.
Do you have family where you can park this at? Do you plan on living near your family where you could park this and have it be, or do you just plan on offloading at that point?
Yeah.
It's kind of keeping that portion in mind.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those things where like, well, we would just continue living in it until we find a house that can fit it and we're going to travel around, like, okay, that's fine. But just like being cognizant of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing too, fifth wheel stuff, a hitch is probably going to run you $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to think about as well. Whereas you can pick up a hitch for like a bumper pull trailer for like $300.
Yeah. You may end up wanting to talk to your girlfriend too, because he does have a Duramax and he's going to be in Portland.
Oh.
So you
need an R-Pod.
You just maybe dudes just may be flocking to the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That may be something you're going to have to consider. Have that talk with her.
Yeah.
But again, 2 bathrooms, so you're good to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. That's one of those things where my wife and I.
And I also too in that for that area, again, rains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting something with a slide, make sure it has. You can buy these aftermarket, but it's basically like an awning that goes on the slide. Mm-hmm. So when the slide comes out, there's an awning over top of it. Because again, you don't want moisture, pine needles, anything kind of building up on top of that slide, because it's just a small rubber seal. Like you could put your hand through it and you'd be outside. So you want to make sure, if you're getting something with a bunch of slides, make sure it's got protection as far as an awning, or if it doesn't, make sure you get up there, once a week and clean the top of it. I used to do that because my other trailer had 2 slides that were directly opposed from each other, and it didn't have the awning things. And it was a smaller trailer, so we'd get that thing in anywhere. And we would go up there was times where I went up there and there was so much freaking crap on top of my slide. And guess where that would go? If when I slide them right inside the trailer. And again, like I said, a lot of them, they're built to be light, so. Just be aware of that. You're going to open a drawer and it's going to be like, oh, wow, this is like, what is this made of? Plastic? Well, it probably is.
It probably is, actually, yeah.
But,
and the other thing to consider, too, is, pulling something this big and this heavy, it's going to put a strain on your truck. So,
it is. But, I mean, if you're parking it somewhere,
right?
It's for a short time. I would
assume he's not moving it every weekend or even once a month. It's more like a leave it there. And that's your home base for that time being.
No, that could be cool, man. Like I said, I would go used. You're gonna find someone who spent $100,000 on a trailer that you may be able to get for like 40. It's true. And it's gonna have you're gonna have full size residential fridge. You're probably gonna have a big screen TV outside with a fridge, cooking station outside, multiple awnings, cool lights. Like you could get a really badass used trailer. And a good size one. So that'd be probably me personally. That's what I would probably look at. Just just because I the the last time we went and looked at trailers, man, it was so bad. I was like, man, none of these are gonna work for us. This thing, if I blow on this wall, it's gonna freaking fold in on me here. So, like, even on my trailer now, like my trailer now is not like the most high end trailer. I mean, I would put it more in like the middle of the road. But there's still things like I rub against one wall and it kind of folds in a little bit. It's just thin. This is how they are. It's just things you gotta. You just got to have that conversation with yourself on what you can live with and what you can't.
To make Tyler's point here, I just Googled the trailer that we're talking about that is for sale for $55,000.
Yeah.
2019. I Googled how much that would cost new in 2019.
Yeah.
$146,000.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be a really nice trailer.
That's a nice fucking trailer that you're getting for basically $100,000 off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Did I definitely
send that one to you already?
Yeah, I would definitely go used 100%. Like and that's a perfect example. None of the trailers, I mean, really hold their value unless you're spending a butt ton of money. And even 146, that's kind of cheap for some of those big toy, or not even toy haulers, but big fifth wheels. I mean, some of those big fifth wheels can get into the $200,000 range easy.
Yeah.
Just get into an earth roamer.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say before. That's what my wife and I looked into. Before we had just combined our finances.
I'd have to be a midget to live in one of those.
Yeah. So before we moved into our first apartment, and when we were thinking about buying a house, we're like, well, we don't have any kids yet. We don't have any dogs yet. Like, we know that we'd want a trailer eventually. Like, let's look into like an earth roamer, how cool that is now.
Yeah.
And then we looked at how much they were, and we're like, fuck no.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I would get a big fifth wheel, man. That's what I would do. That it's going to give you the most space. It's going to feel like home inside, especially if it's got some slides. It's going to feel big, and again, make sure when you're looking at these things, operate everything. Have most of those big fifth wheels are going to have some sort of generator, even though you're not going to use it. Make sure it still works. Make sure the hot water heater turns on. Make sure the fridge. I mean, the guy that's selling it should already have the thing plugged in, fridge cold, that sort of thing. If it's not, have him plug it in. Run everything. I mean, that'd be the worst thing is, especially on some of these big ones, if there's an issue with the fridge, do you know what they have to do? They have to take a slide off. You have to literally take the slide out of the RV to get the fridge out. That is the only way. It doesn't fit through the door.
That tracks. Yep.
Yeah, you have to. And the cost of pulling a slide off is, have you ever seen them do it?
No,
dude, it's wild. They make like this jig, dude.
Jig crane.
I've seen this one guy make it out. It was basically out of wood. Mm-hmm. And it was this big thing with like carpet on it, and it would grab the slide. They'd unbolt it and kind of tilt it out, and then they were able to like get a forklift under it and move the slide out. Like, that's the only way to replace those big appliances in there, is to pull a slide out, and it is very expensive, very expensive. So you want to make sure all that shit works.
Damn.
Yeah.
The other thing to consider too is, I assume on these newer ones that are higher end, they may actually have a washer and dryer in it, or at least hookups for it.
Most of them are going to have the combination unit, which is going to wash and dry. I've heard everybody that I know that has a trailer that has a washer dryer, they never use it. It doesn't work all that well. I mean, I've seen. I just looked at a toy hauler the other day that had a stack set, which that's kind of cool, because I've heard nothing but bad things about those combo units. They could work fine. I don't know. I've never used one. I've never had a trailer expensive enough to have one of those in it. So,
I mean, I've had an apartment that has like one of those stacks in it.
Yeah.
And they work. They're small loads.
I'm talking, it's one unit and it's front load and it washes it and dries
I've never seen the single, the one that does it all.
Yeah. Most of those trailers are going to have the combo unit.
But just kind of throwing it out there, because I hate having to go somewhere and do laundry. We've all had to do it. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, most RV parks too, though, like that you're looking at, that have those.
They may have those services.
They do. Yeah. Most all of them do. So if it doesn't have that, it's not the end of the world. You have to do it the old school way. But obviously that's a good point, Ben.
Yeah.
Good point.
Think about that.
Yeah.
But I did send both those links to you, so on your Facebook. Also, if you're in the Facebook group and you have any experience with this, chime in, dude. Like, this is one of the reasons we have this group that we do, and this community of people. But yeah, I mean, if or maybe if you have one for sale that, like, it may work out. Private sales are good too, but definitely we'll get a Facebook post going for this. I said I will. I probably won't. Someone else will post it. We'll start commenting on it, because let's be real, I never say what I'm going to do.
No, I think it's cool, man. That's going to save you some money, and you know, and here's the thing too. You know, some of these nicer RV parks, you're not going to be like living next to, you know, Johnny with his 5 vehicles and his you know, shitty freaking area. Like, they keep these places clean, and most of the time the people that are there, even if they're staying there for a long time, they're mostly like senior people that are going to be staying there for longer periods of time. So that's the nice thing about it, is like, and there's going to be usually a locked gate. There's going to be security. They're going to, you know, make sure nobody gets in there, which is nice peace of mind. And also I would look at some, you know, changing the locks. Usually the locks on RV doors are usually pretty cheap and easy to break into. So upgrading, you know, the locking system to something a little bit stronger, I would highly recommend if you're going to be living in it. But yeah, dude, cool idea, man. Especially Portland. I'm sure freaking housing prices there are just astronomical. Oh yeah. So it's gonna definitely save you some money. And yeah, do your due diligence, do your shopping. Go look at new ones, and then go look at used ones. You should look at new ones first, because then you kind of get an idea of what you can. Like, okay, I could buy this new one for this, or I could buy this used one for this, and this one has like actual cabinets and it's nice, even though it's used. Like,
and it's like 1/3 the cost.
Well, or if we're just comparing like a $30,000 trailer to a $30,000 used one, you're gonna get so much more for your money on a used one.
100%.
So
like, even just looking at
that's why I say go look at new ones first, and then kind of get. It's cool because they usually will have a lot on site that you can look at, and they don't really change a hell of a lot on these trailers, especially if you're looking at something that's like 2015 and newer. Like, they're all gonna have like basically the same amenities. Obviously, the new ones are going to, you know, have nice, cool, fancy lights and all this cool stuff. Kind of put that off to the side, but, you know, get an idea of what you want at an RV place, and then start looking at used ones.
Yeah. We'll leave you with this. Getting yourself locked into a loan at a young age, especially with an RV. My personal advice on that would be, getting into, say, a 15-year loan and a $55,000 thing. It seems like a good idea, and I'm not saying I'm opposed to it. Yeah. But if you can
know what you're getting into.
Know what you're getting into. I mean, if you can be okay, if you find something for $30,000 and you can just do a 6-year loan on that. Yeah. Like there's at this point in my life, I've come to the point where, like, if I do ever have to get a loan on something, I don't ever want to feel like if I just wanted to pay it off right now, that the amount is so far away. Yeah. That I couldn't even do it.
Or if you had to sell it, but you're upside down.
Exactly.
And you're going to have to eat.
And it's like on a let's say a $30,000 and you have it for, you know, 6-year loan, and then you have it half paid off. It's $15,000, and maybe you got to, you know, that it's $15,000 is not a little bit of money, but you're not sitting there going like, well, if I want to pay it off right now, I would need $42,000. It's like, what the fuck, dude? At least $15,000. Like, well, I've got a truck I can sell. At least I could sell that and get out from there, and or something like that. To me, there's always needs to be an escape plan with a loan. Yeah. If you can't sell it, you just need to like get out from under it and just pay it off or something like that. Yeah. So just kind of keep that in mind. But that being said, I really like that $55,000 one.
That thing's
I know
sweet.
I just talked shit about a loan for that long, but like living in that with another, you know, with my companion, with a girlfriend or a wife. And also, I assume you have a girlfriend. Not everybody has girlfriends that has kids, but you may, if you want kids in the future, this thing has the bunks, it has the loft. This may be
it's got baby making ability, baby.
Yeah, this may be a one and done type deal. You may be able to get this, use it while you go to school, and in the beginning portion of your adult life, buy a house while you're still paying this off. Yeah. And when it comes time to, you know, go out on adventures and while you have kids, you've already got the RV portion taken care of. Yeah, could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That being said, we greatly appreciate that question. And if you have
Hopefully we answered it good.
Hopefully we answered good. Yeah. Again, I did send you those 2 links, and hopefully that helps. And let us know what you end up doing. Best of luck in school.
And if you have any questions, dude, shoot a message, and Ben will shoot me a message, and then I'll shoot him a message back. Yeah. Hopefully with an answer.
I'll give him a Post-it note. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. He'll write me a letter.
Thanks for listening, guys, and 2 girls.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.